Welcome to this video series, where we explore the world of WebdriverIO to help you succeed in your test automation career. Hello, my name is Marco Cruz, and I'm the founder of automateNow, and I'm excited to team up with afterTest to bring you these awesome videos. My background is in computer engineering, and I have over a decade in software testing experience. You can learn more about my company by heading over to automateNow.io, and you can also find us on YouTube by searching automateNow. Alright, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about two very important things in WebdriverIO, and those are fixtures and hooks. What are they? Why should you use them? Why should you care about them? Make sure you stick to the end and you pay attention, because these things are fundamental as you begin to learn WebdriverIO and how to design tests with it. Let's have a look at these things. So what are fixtures? Fixtures allow us to create a predefined state when we test an application. Let's say, for instance, that you're testing some database, and you first want to make sure that you create a database connection before you start testing the database. That would be a perfect use for a fixture, so you can make sure that the first thing you do is to establish a database connection. The means by which we achieve this are called hooks. We use hooks to create fixtures, and these hooks allow us to create, for example, setup and teardown methods. An example would be, again, creating a database connection before we begin to test the application, or before we begin to test the database, and also ending the database connection, or a teardown method, once we have completed all of our tests. All right, let's have a look at some of these common hooks. And here we have some of the common hooks. The first one here is before. You would use this before hook to run any code before any test runs. Okay, this will run one time before all of your tests, or any test in your test suite. We also have after, and this one runs after all the tests are done. Okay, it also runs only one time. We also have before each. This one runs before each test. We have as well after each, which this runs code after every single test. Let's have a look at some examples so you can get a better grip on this. And here we have the WebdriverIO project that we have been working on all along in this series. We're going to take a look at this WDIO config file. Okay, let's go ahead and open this up. And in here, we're going to find hooks. Okay, you're going to need to scroll down, and eventually we're going to find a section on hooks. Okay, these are all the hooks that come bundled with WebdriverIO. So let's have a look at some of these here. For instance, we have before session. Notice we have a before here, before command, and so on. Okay, and you can also read descriptions on each of these right here. Okay, so you can either set a hook right here in this config file, or you can do it at the test level. Okay, I'm going to show you both so you can know how to do it in either place. First, I'm going to show you how to do it inside of your spec file. All right, so we're going to have a spec right here called login. So let's go ahead and open this one up. Right now, we have a single test right here, which basically goes to the afterTest website and logs in. Okay, so let me show you that now. And this is what the test does. It goes to this website, the afterTest playground, and it goes to this login page right here. Okay, so when we land on the login page, it enters the username and a password and clicks login. All right, so this is what we're going to be using a hook for. We're going to create a hook so that we always go to the login page anytime we're running tests inside of that login spec file. All right, so let's have a look at the code one more time. As you can see here, we have the test that goes to the login page. It says login.open. And then we're setting a username and a password, and then it just has a pause right here of 3 seconds. Now, imagine that we had multiple tests in this test suite, right? Let's go ahead and copy this right here, and let's just add a couple more tests in here. Now, if you pay careful attention, you'll notice that we're duplicating code, okay? Right here, we're saying go to the login page. And again, on this test, we're saying go to the login page. So every test, we need to first go to the login page. This is a perfect example in which we could use a hook. We could create a hook that runs before our tests so that we always go to the login page. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a hook for that. All right, let's think about what kind of hook we want to do here. We want to go to the login page before every single test. Okay, so the hook we will need to use is before each. Remember that before each runs before every single test. So that would be a perfect type of hook for us to use here. So let's go ahead and add it. We're going to go to the beginning here, and we're going to say before each right here. Notice that this comes from Mocha. Okay, there are some hooks that come from the Mocha, which is the test framework that we are using. Other hooks are coming from WebdriverIO, as I showed you in this config file over here. We're going to be using this one right now though, the beforeEach for Mocha. So let's go ahead and click on that. And then let's go ahead and create that hook. All right, so here, this beforeEach hook, we're going to be using it to go to the login page, as we said. Let's go ahead and grab this code right here. This is the code that we need to place inside of this hook right here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this code right here and add it over here. Okay. Now we can go ahead and delete it from all of these places over here in the other test. All right. And notice that we've done. We reduced the code duplication that we had. Our tests are more modular now. They don't need to worry about where they need to go, which page they need to be on. They just need to do whatever functionality we're testing, okay? In this case, we're going to be logging in and that's it, all right? So let's go ahead and test this out now. Now that we move this code into this beforeEach, let's see what happens when we run all of these tests. All right, now that we have the hook in place, we want to make sure that our tests are still working, okay? So I've went ahead and duplicated this code over here. So obviously some tests are going to fail, right? These bottom two are going to fail because we're already going to be logged in at this point right here. So when this runs, this one's going to fail. It's not going to be able to find the username or the password. So let's go ahead and just disable these for now. Okay, let's just go ahead and comment these out. And let's just make sure that this one is working as expected. Okay, so let me go ahead and run this code now. And we should see this test still passing, okay, even though we have this hook over here now. Right, there we see the window is opening. We go to the login page. And we are able to log in. Right now it's just pausing for those 3 seconds. And we see that the test has passed. Okay. So this is how you would use a beforeEach hook. All right. Again, I commented this code out because the tests are the same. But just imagine if you had different tests in here that all needed to go to the login page, right? You don't want to keep duplicating that code to go to the login page every single time you write a new test. Okay. Instead, we put it in a beforeEach test. All right. Now let's have a look at another example. Okay. In which we want to, for example, take a screenshot of the test, or we want to take a screenshot after every single test. All right, let me see how we can do that. All right, again, we're going to be using an afterEach in this case, right? So we're going to say afterEach, all right, and then we're going to add some code in here. All right, so to take a screenshot, we're going to be using this folder over here, which I added before I started recording this video. This is the screenshots folder. You can simply add it by going over here by saying new folder, okay? And you can put this here in the root directory of this project right here, okay? So we're gonna use this folder to put all of our screenshots, whatever screenshots we take, okay? So in this case, let's go ahead and take our screenshot after every single test. So here we're going to say await, and then browser dot save screenshot. Okay, so let's use this one right here. Now we need to provide the path for this screenshot. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that in here, and we're going to put this one inside quotes. Okay, we want to specify where the screenshot is going to be saved. In this case, we have this folder right here called screenshots, right? And this is in the root directory. So we say dot root directory. That's what that means, and then / screenshots, okay? And then / and then we can name our screenshot. In my case, I'm just gonna call it screenshot.png. Okay, we need to put in the file extension in here, okay? So now we should be seeing a screenshot taken after this test runs. Okay, let's go ahead and make sure that this is running properly. All right, so we have the test running one more time. We're gonna log in. And hopefully when this is done, we're going to take a screenshot, right? And indeed, we can see here a new file has been added to the screenshots folder. Okay, it's called screenshot.png. If we open this up, we can see right here the screenshot that was taken. All right, so that's how you would take a screenshot after every single test. All right, so I've shown you guys how to define hooks inside of your specs right here, right? So before our test and after our test, we're either going to the login page or taking a screenshot. Now let me show you how to use hooks outside of this spec file. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to well, first let me comment this out. I don't want to take a screenshot anymore. All right, let me comment that out, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm also going to delete this file that we added. Let's go ahead and delete it for now so I can show you some other stuff. All right, you may have noticed that when the test runs, the screen is not maximized. Next, I want to show you guys how you can use a hook to maximize the screen before your test runs or at the start of your test. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. We're going to take a look at this WDIO config file. And in here, we're going to find this hook called beforeSuite. Okay, it says here that this hook gets executed before the suite starts. Okay, your suite of tests are going to run, but before that, we're going to be executing whatever code we define in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and uncomment this for now. And we're going to maximize the browser window before we execute our tests. All right, so here we're going to say browser dot maximize window. And that's all we need here. Okay, we just need to call that method. Now let's go ahead and save everything and rerun our test to make sure that we can see that the window is maximized when our tests run. And I noticed that I made a mistake here. The window opened and then it minimized. That is because I used the wrong method right here. So we need to say maximize instead of minimize. All right, so let's go ahead and start over here. We're going to say maximize window. All right, so let's try it again. And hopefully we'll get it right this time. And here we see the browser window has opened and is maximized. It's taking the entire viewport right here. All right, so this is one way that you can use another type of hook right here, beforeSuite, to do any type of setup before your test suite runs. Let's take a look at another one. Okay, now we're going to be taking a screenshot in case of a test failing. Okay, so if a test fails, we want to take that screenshot. Let's go ahead and take a look at what other options we have here. Okay, we need to look for something that says after, right? So we have afterEach right here. We don't want that. There should be something here called afterTest. Okay, so this is the one right here. So this function gets executed after a test. Okay, this applies to Mocha and Jasmine. All right, so we want to take a screenshot after every single test in case the test failed. Okay, only if the test failed do we want to take a screenshot. All right, so let's go ahead and uncomment this right here. And let's add our code in here. I'm going to say that I want to take a screenshot when a test fails. Here we're going to say if not pass. So if my test does not pass, I would like to take a screenshot. All right. So let me go to the login spec and grab this code right here. So we're going to reuse it over here. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to just change the name of it so that you guys can see the difference. Failed. Okay. And this is what's going to happen, right? So when the test runs and it fails, we're going to go over here and take that screenshot. And hopefully we're going to see the screenshot being saved here under this screenshots folder right here. You can see that there's nothing there right now. So we're going to go ahead and make our test fail, this test right here, so that we can see the screenshot in there. To make this test fail, I'm going to go ahead and change one of these selectors in the login page. So let me go to this login right here. And for the input username here, we're going to go ahead and do add an underscore, for example. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this test, save everything and run it. And let's see what happens. Okay, we can see the test is on the login page, but because we provided a bad selector, you won't be able to find this username field. All right, so we can see the test has failed, and we have a screenshot here called fail.png. If we open this up, we can see here the login page showing up. Hopefully you were able to see how easy it is to use hooks. If you want to learn more about hooks, you can go to WebdriverIO and look for the documentation in the configuration section. There you're going to find a section called hooks, okay? And this has an explanation with examples on each of the hooks, okay? As I mentioned, there are some hooks that are specific to WebdriverIO and some specific to the test framework that you may be using. In our case, we're using Mocha, which also has specific hooks, okay? If you go to mochajs.org, you're going to find this page right here, and all you need to do is click on this section that says before, after, and this hooks right here, okay? And here you can see some explanation of the different hooks and how to use them, okay? So go ahead and head over there, check them out, and start trying out these hooks. I hope you had fun learning about hooks. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. Check out any of the links on the screen to get connected with the Lambda test community, get certified, and get access to the code that you saw today. See you in the next video.